the go-to tool.
For link building, for link research, what do you use today?
Like, it's basically, we have a lot of in-house tools to find domain names because link building is all about diversity. It's like you need to do everything because your competitor, there can only be one guy on the top, and you need to do everything what your competitor are doing, and you need to do it better. So you need to do outreach. You need to buy links from everyone that's selling links, and especially in a competitive market like iGaming, because everyone will push links. And also doing your own link network, so you have your own link equity. That is, I would say, like the top, so that no one, because that's are the links that no one else can get from your own link network, and then just buy from everyone. That would be my take. Like, and the guy with the best business model and revenue on that traffic will then eventually be able to buy more links and then continue to grow.
Okay, but I think we have to start from a very basic question. Is still link building effective or not? That is the real question.
Can we
not how many we can buy or from whom or you know how relevant it is. Is still effective or not? And the answer from my perspective is still effective.
It is.
And we're still using a lot as a strategy in improving our rankings. And of course, we analyze a lot, and the link that is today, of course, is a totally different than the link that was 1 year or a few years ago.
100%. Yeah.
5 years ago, the guy who was in charge of the algorithm for Bing spoke at one of my events. And he sat up there and he says, I'm going to show you the algorithm. And me and Chris Costigan were like, that's the guy who runs Gambling 911. We were like, what? And so he got up there and he says, Google's algorithms are almost identical. They're pretty much the same. There may be some little tweaks. But he went through a lot of things, and there was no question. He was really showing what scores and what doesn't on Bing. He got to social, and this was in 2012, and this was the most interesting thing. He said, we already know the difference. 2012, we already know the difference between a real social account and a fake one. So if you think you're buying links, or fake links on Fiverr with Twitter accounts and stuff, you're wasting your time. Matter of fact, he said if you do too many of them, you'll kill yourself. But he said basically, we know the difference. And how we know the difference is we have collected your metadata. And again, this was pre-Snowden. No one in the room knew what metadata meant. And he said, okay, what we know is we know your Twitter account, we know your LinkedIn account, we know your Google Plus account, we know all this. And he says, this was Google, this was Bing. He says, we know all that, Google knows all that. He says, and your data that we have on you of your actual accounts is probably a couple of 100K. That doesn't matter. What we have is your metadata, and that's in the megabytes for each of you. And he says, that tells us your interests, what you're doing, where you're surfing. We follow all your posts. We follow your tracks. He says, we know all that. So he said, if you're a real person posting a link to a site, and that is your shared interest. In other words, you do, let's say you're into boxing gloves and you're a boxer, and you post a link to that boxing glove website that sells those boxing gloves, that link has a very high Google juice. And this was, again, in 2012. And that's the reason why I created UTail, because I realized, oh, wow, let the customer, as they're buying, let them go and post a social link that they're buying the product, because then it's one-on-one, it's hand in glove. But on link building now, that's what I'm seeing more and more. Unless it's a very high authoritative site, it's all social now. And now even within social, that person must have authority. That person has to have authority, that they have to be interested in that product, not just a one-off.
I can say that link building can take you only so far, okay? On a competitive keyword, you can go with link building to top 5, top 3, but getting from 3 to 1, it has to require a very good product. That's mostly in the most competitive markets, from my experience. You guys see something else in your ways?
So when it comes to outreach efforts and link building campaigns, it's not only about having a link pointing to your website from an authoritative website, but it's about relevancy. Mm-hmm. So how much relevant is that link you get pointing to your website, to your content? And looking into that, of course, if the links are pointing to your product page, let's say, it's quite obvious that it's almost impossible to get a link pointing to your product page using a non-commercial anchor text and still telling to Google that link is not paid or is natural. So what you have to do is to build natural and organic links pointing to your website, and mostly using your content of your website, and not necessarily or less your product pages or your money generator pages.
What do you think, Riker? I see you moving in your chair.
Like from my point of view, you can do both strategies. Like you can do that, but also I've seen like hundreds of cases. I don't know, the guys who work like #1 for online casino in Sweden, they were like no social account, no nothing. It was only like a lot of links pointing into it. It was like, and it was there for, I don't know if it's still there, but it was there for like 2 years at least. So it was just links coming into it. Of course, it's good to have this natural history around it, but there is odd cases where you can just push links and it works, but I would never bet my strategy on it. But it's the Google bot, and that it is a lot of bugs in it, and we have to, both on the good and the bad side, that good sites get penalized when it goes down, and bad sites is going up, and it's very hard to see why.
I agree. Okay, guys, we have 2 minutes left. Give one piece of advice to affiliates starting out. Like, what would be your best SEO advice? I would like to learn also, so I'm poaching you guys also.
Okay, so
Best advice.
my takeaway from this session is, guys, build content, real content. I'm an SEO guy, doing for more than 10 years SEO, but I really believe the content that will engage your visitors, and it will improve your click-through rate and metrics and time on site. It will attract also links afterwards. So start building your real content and point your links to your money pages. And that is the best strategy in my perspective.
I agree, build good content, but to get a good user experience, but also invest in links. And don't invest all the money at once, but do it during the next 12 months. You have to be patient because you don't know what's going to happen, and take it easy and learn, because it's Google and have multiple sites and multiple pages to rank to.
Now you need stamina.
I'm a fan of basically looking down the pike, what's coming down the pike in the future, trying to plan for that ahead. And if everybody's doing something today, you're just going to be another guy doing the same thing. You want to be ahead of the game. So that's one. The other is try and make yourself a bigger company. Look at what the big companies do, how they structure things, and just try and, whatever you can, to fool the system, make it think you're bigger than you are.
Thank you.
Exactly zero.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.